And we are live. What's going on, team? It's Ricky with Learn Plan Profit. Hope that you guys are all having a great start to your afternoon at this point. Today is November 20th. Nvidia is going to be reporting earnings, and let's see what the market holds. This overhyped up company. Let me go ahead and buy the cover there. So let's see how much money we made. Nice little sell-off. Took a short on this one as it gapped up, announced it to my LPP team. Never seen a more hyped up company than MSTR. So overhyped, what that means is what goes up must come down, right? So, okay. Can you guys hear me and see me okay? Are we all good here? We live? Checking in? All right, Nvidia reports earnings. I do not carry an open position on Nvidia. One thing that I do want to remind you is, close out your position or forever hold your peace. Here it goes. We got 8 seconds left. I'm going to reduce another 25 shares here. Buy to cover. Up $2,700. Left myself with 25 shares open, which is right around $11,000. And position is closed. There we go. PLTR, position is closed on that one as well. Made $3,000. Not too bad for a kid with no talent, right? We are here. Let me post this in our close friends on Instagram, letting them know that we are live. We are live. All right. Video set to report earnings. Let's see which way it goes. You guys ready? Solid. Let's go. Okay, perfect. Just want to make sure you guys can hear me and see me okay. MSTR selling off even more after market hours. Honestly, this is a position that I wouldn't even mind holding for a number of days. Look how overhyped up this is. It's just so incredibly bullish because of how much hype there is behind it. And obviously Nvidia could send it even higher. So just something that I have to be mindful of. PLTR. Here we go. Nvidia. Perfect. All right. What do we think? Bullish or bearish? Let's run a poll. You guys ready? All right. Here we go. What time is earnings? Is this one 5 or 30 minutes after? Let's see. Let me look it up real quick. $2 million long on Nvidia. Wow, that's ballsies. But hey, hope that it pays off for you at that point. I'm so tired of this bullish market. It's okay. There's money to be made on both sides. But yeah, I agree. Market's incredibly overextended. We'll see. Are we going to sell off like we did last time that Nvidia reported earnings? Nvidia reported better than expected earnings, but yet it still sold off. A big concern right now is Nvidia's Blackwell chip causing servers to overheat. Is that actually an issue? Is that just fake hype? That's hopefully something that we can learn a little bit more during its guidance call. So we'll see. Probably flat. I really don't think it's going to be flat. Yeah. Here we go. Let's see. Still waiting for Nvidia to report. Right now, 74% of you think that the market's going to react in a bullish way. Ready? Okay. Are you bullish or bearish? I have no open position. You can see all my position right here. I had a position shorting MSTR. I closed out most of my short. I have 25 shares. I'll actually close out another part of it. We'll close out, turn on extended hours, and we should be able to buy to cover. So here's another 7,000 the shares being closed. Yep. I had a position on PLTR, went long on it, locked in profits, announced it to my LPP team, closed out the short, the long completely. I didn't go short. I'm sorry. I went long on it. Here we go. So I'm ready. If market gaps up and I see that momentum is in our favor, I'll consider to go long. If I see that it's overbought and beginning to curl on over, I'll consider to go short. This is one of my favorite positions to be in. So and again, I respect if you have a specific plan and it aligns with your intention and your trading style, your plan doesn't need to make sense to me. I know a lot of people that are choosing to go long on Nvidia that have been invested or that just invested. If that's what you believe, I think that you'll either, if you make money, great. If not, then you'll learn from your mistake. As long as you're doing it because it makes sense to you. Right? One of our biggest things that we've always tried to preach is you should never be trying to copy what other people are doing. There's nothing wrong with learning from other individuals, especially, right? If you can learn from their mistakes so you don't have to repeat and cost yourself that same expense. But nonetheless, do not put yourself in a position in which you cannot tolerate nor that you do not understand. I think that's super important for every beginner to understand is that if you're just blindly buying Nvidia and fingers crossed, just hoping that it goes up, did you take downside risk into consideration, right? Nvidia is incredibly overbought. It could continue to rally, no question. It's a super successful company, one of the most successful in 2024. But what happens if it pulls on back? Do you have the understanding of the market, the tolerance, the conditioning to be able to hold that position or mitigate risk accordingly? And if the simple answer is no, then, right, kind of just like what I'm doing is, well, why not just stay cash? Why not just wait for the market to react and then you can choose to take a trade accordingly? Okay. All right, slightly in the red, but again, this is nothing. So Nvidia earning expectation, 74 cents per share, $33 billion, and it's supposed to be reported in just a few minutes. And then I do want to remind you that it does have its earnings call shortly after. So please make sure that you are aware of that. So can you guys help me with I thought the report was supposed to come out within 30 minutes of the market closing, right? Is it 4:20? Okay. So we have 12 more minutes. You guys are going to have to put up with me for 12 more minutes. Is that okay? While I have you guys here, one thing that I quickly wanted to, actually, I haven't done this in a really long time. I I plan to host a free live trading session on Friday. What do you guys think about that? I know I haven't hosted it in a while. I got a message about it recently and I was like, hey, you're right. I haven't hosted a free live trading session. That's where I'll be going live here on YouTube. It'll be very similar to this, but it's going to be right at market open. So if you're someone that likes to sleep in, probably is not going to be for you. So you do have to be subscribed to the channel to tune on in. And the only thing that I would ask you to do is if you think that you'll forget or you want access to the link before I actually go live, we're going to send it to all of our people that are subscribed to our politician trade tracker. And for those that do not know what that is, it's the first link in the description down below. We send out a weekly newsletter that tracks every politician's trade. So if you click the first link and you're not already subscribed to it, if you're already subscribed to our trade tracker, there's no need for you to subscribe. If you're not yet, the first link in the description gives you access to our weekly newsletter where, if Nancy Pelosi or any other politician takes a trade, we track it and we send it to you in a very nice kind of like picture format that makes it very easy to understand who bought, who sold, what did they buy, what did they sell. So first link in the description down below. And if you want to tune on into that free live trading, that's all I literally ask you to do. So first link in the description and we can go from there. The site should look like this. So you just put your name, your last name, phone number, email, and then that's it. Okay. That trade tracker has made me money. That's funny. I personally just use it. I like to be kept up to date on more of when people are selling, right? So if I see like Nancy Pelosi liquidating her Nvidia positions, I want to be kept up to date on a weekly basis on who's buying, who's selling, mainly who's selling, and why are they choosing to sell. So kind of just something where I like to be aware. For those that do not know, they do report these things within 45 days of taking their trades. That's according to the regulations that they have on them. But nonetheless, as soon as they report, our job is to share it with you guys via email every Monday. So Snowflake beat earnings. Snowflake hasn't been performing the best, has it? It's up 13.88%. Nice. Okay, so nice little uptick, but yeah, man, it's been pretty rough for Snowflake recently. So it's nice that again one strong day is a big gap up, but if you really look at the big picture, this is really just bringing it back to where it was kind of like in the middle of this year. So could this be an overreaction? True direction is just incredibly bearish. Not something that I would care to partake in myself. Look at that MSTR now trying to indicate signs of a reversal, or is it forming lower highs? Here we go. Nvidia going back. All right. Here we go. All right, 7 more minutes. 7 more minutes. Nvidia to 1K by Friday. Here we go. I love that, Brian. Yeah. I saw Ricky fighting Tyson backstage on Friday. That's too good. Yeah, you guys watched that fight? That was pretty wild, huh? It was a good payday for Jake and Mike. That's what it sounds like. Because I know everyone else got smoked. On the last earnings, how much did the market move overall? That's a really good question, Shark Trends. So when Nvidia last reported earnings, it exceeded expectation, but it actually sold off after market hours. But by the time the market opened and for the remainder of the following day, it actually was bullish, if I'm not mistaken. Do we have time? Do you guys mind if I look at it real quick? Is that cool? Let's look at the previous time that it reported earnings and look at how it reacted and the day of and the day after. Is that cool? Can you guys give me a thumbs up? I feel like might as well be productive while we're live, right? Does that sound good? Thumbs up? We're good? Let's do it. Yeah, August 28th. So let's go back real quick. August 28th is when they reported Q2. So this is it, if I'm not mistaken. There was a big rally. This is the big difference. There was a big rally leading up to Nvidia reporting earnings. It then began to find its resistance at 130 per share. And then when it did report earnings, which is I believe on the 28th, you could see that during extended hours, it sold off. But by the time the market opened the following day, it came back pretty much to previous highs. And then it continued the sell-off where the market actually retraced for a bit. But again, Nvidia and the rest of the market found its support and then began to recover. But that's the big, I think that's the big picture that I like to remind traders is that whatever happens today is most likely short-lived, right? So it's good to have a micro and macro outlook of the market. So in the short term, it's more for traders, right? In the short term, can we get in and get out and try to make a few bucks? Great. If that's your intention, that's why I'm here too. But if you're here for the macro part of, okay, well, I expect to be invested in Nvidia, then I really don't think today's earnings or maybe today's volatility should really impact your long-term outlook. And again, it's all about your intention. You might be a long-term investor. I might be just trying to swing trade to Nvidia. So I think Nvidia is overbought, but you on the long term might think that Nvidia is still relatively pretty cheap because of your intention. And both of us can be right. We just have different intentions. And that's the thing that I really like to remind you is you're going to hear and see different people share different opinions about Nvidia in the comments section. Do not let panic scare you. I don't care if you're, a bull or a bear. If you have your own intention and your own plan and you're mitigating and managing risk, then that's all that matters to me. You're at least doing your part to take advantage of an opportunity, but also taking care of your downside. And I think that's super important. Now, do I think Nvidia at the current price level is a super good price in the short term? Heck no. It's nearly at all-time highs. And guess what? It could go even higher after today, right? In the next 4 minutes, it can shoot up to 150, 160, 170 per share. I don't not believe that. I do believe that, right? But big picture, just like we saw last time, anytime something gets overhyped up, it corrects itself. We've seen it many, many times for Nvidia where I would rather for my long-term positions buy when it's oversold and, when there's a little bit more fear in the market. I believe there's too much greed. Things are too far ahead of itself where I think with everything that we saw with AI, following with this Trump rally, following with this crypto boom, it has a lot of people thinking to be very bullish. And I think that's great in the short term. Long term, I don't think right now is a good price to buy. That's just my opinion. I would rather wait for some form of sell-off to happen as they always do. Last time, I just want to remind you, when it hit $140 per share, Nvidia sold off 34%. So this $1 trillion company does have selling pressure. And just as quick as it runs up, it could aggressively sell off when the dominoes begin to fall. And that's the one thing that I love to remind myself is like time will tell. That's great for current investors that are making a ton of money. I respect that. If you don't want to reduce your size because that's not your intention, I respect that as well. My thing is, well, I didn't get in at the great price that you did, right? And I don't think right now is a good price. It's a good deal. It's not a if I can make money. Of course, anyone can make money doing anything based off of, the stock gapping up. I can get lucky too, right? But what's my profit potential versus my downside risk? And because of that, I just don't want to open myself to that kind of risk. And that's just my decision. You don't have to agree with me, right? Put your money where your mouth is. And if you want to go long, go long. Just make sure you manage your risk. If you want to go short, then go short. There's no confirmation of this thing selling off, but nonetheless, right? Manage and mitigate risk. All right, so in the next 1 minute, we should be seeing Nvidia report earnings. If it's not too much to ask, first off, I really do appreciate you guys taking time and tuning on in to my live stream as we watch Nvidia report earnings. I hope that I earned your thumbs up, and please consider subscribing if you want to watch our free live trading session this Friday. You guys just asked me to host it. Would be more than happy to host it. It's going to be this Friday. Make sure you click the first link in the description down below. It's going to be our politician trade tracker. Just subscribe to that trade tracker newsletter. It's for free, and we'll send you an email on Thursday with the link so you can access it on Friday right at market open. But without further ado, in the next 30 seconds, we are ready to go. Here we go. Let's see it. All right, the moment of truth. Nine seconds. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hello. Here we go. Here we go. Oh! Oh! Oh, I love it. I love it. I'm buying into the dip. Here we go. All right, bought 100 shares. There it goes. Absolutely getting smoked. Sold off 5%. Look at that. Look at that. Oh my goodness. It's down. Oh, this is too good. I'm just buying the dip. I'm buying into the dip. I love it. I love it. Right? You don't have to predict the future. You can just wait for the hype to kind of fade and buy into it. Just make a few bucks. Oh my God, that made me laugh way too much. Let it sell off. Let it sell off. Let it do its thing, right? We're in no rush. No rush to overpay. Here we go. Here we go. Let's see if it begins to pick up. Who got cooked? I can promise you a bunch of people went long on it. And nothing's wrong with that, right? If you decided to go long on it, like I said, it's all about your intention. There's no trader, there's no investor that gets it right 100% of the time. And this is one thing that you'll see often happen on YouTube is I love sharing my green days and my red days. And anytime that I share that I managed or mitigated risk, they're like, you see, idiot, you took a loss. It's like, well, no shit, Sherlock, right? What do you think? I'm going to be green on every single trade I take? It's like, okay, well, when I show that I manage and mitigate my risk, they're like, you're a loser. And when I show that I locked in profits and I'm in the green, they're like, well, you got lucky. I'm like, okay, well, what is it, right? You can never please anyone. Your job is not to make it make sense to them or anyone else. As long as it makes sense to you, as long as your risk to reward ratios align with your success rate, then that should be what matters most, right? Make it make sense to you and let your results talk. Here we go. Let's see what it actually reported for earnings. How about that? And here it goes. Yep, doesn't surprise me. It exceeded expectation. $35.1 billion, 81 cents per share. It could just be, maybe some panic selling, maybe not as, I want to look into the guidance. Here it goes. We're up about 1,000. Let's see if enough buying pressure kicks in that all the bulls start kicking in. And this is very similar to my live trading sessions, right? Obviously, it's not during aftermarket hours, but if you've ever wondered what it's like to watch me trade live, it's very similar to this, where I just explain my thought process behind every trade I take. And you get to see the good, you get to see the bad. And that's why so many beginners love my live trading sessions, because it's so simple, right? There's no edits or anything. It's just like this. It's a raw live stream like this every morning right at market open, and you can join for $1 a day. So that's what I'm going to lock in profits. When in doubt, cash out, right? Here it goes, locking in profits, $3,000. Yeah. So again, I trade live every single morning. One of the sales that we currently have going on is it breaks down the live trading sessions for $1 a day. If you ever want to tune on in, it's the second link in the description down below. If you don't see it, feel free to check it out. Second link in the description. And here we go. Watch for the breakout. Watch it go green. Watch it go green. It's aiming for that, for the green. Let's see if it gets it. But again, if you want to lock in profits, don't be afraid to do so, right? Your plan is your plan. My plan is my plan. So I reduced my position size a little bit just in case it does pull on back. You know, I have enough cash on the sidelines. I can tolerate the pullback, but also maybe buy in a little bit more into the hype. So I love you, Brody. Your discipline is unmatched. I appreciate that, man. Thank you. I appreciate you tuning on in and taking time to watch my videos. It means a lot. I know you have a lot of different options out there. So I hope that these raw live sessions just, show you what trading can be, not what it is every day, but what it can be. And, if I can be that form of motivation for you, then that's what it's all about, right? Tomorrow they will hit 150 per share. We'll see, right? No reason to set price targets. It's not like anyone's opinion means anything with this. Ricky's style is so calm and awesome. Thank you, my God. Appreciate that, brother. Thank you. So it looks like we're already showing lack of progress up here. So we could easily get rejected and come back down to retest. So that is a concern. That is something that we need to be aware of. And if you don't want to be exposed to that kind of risk, then maybe taking profits would make the most sense now, right? It's not about how much you're up or down. So during my live trading sessions, if you end up joining my LPP team, one thing that you'll notice is I often have this closed. I don't like to see how much I'm up or down. Obviously, this is YouTube and I'm hosting this in front of you guys. So I know a lot of you guys just like to see it. I normally don't like to see it. We call it the blind trading challenge, right? If you've ever taken a trade and you're obsessing about how much you're up or down, it's normally because you're just paying attention to your P&L. But realistically, your trade has nothing to do with your P&L. So that is why I like to close this when I'm actively trading and focus on just what the charts are telling me, right? If I see signs of resistance, close it out. If I see signs of a support, I can jump in. So if you tune on into the live sessions and you see that, by the end of the live stream, then you'll see me, open it up and stuff like that. But when it comes down to actively taking a trade, I normally don't like to have it open because just like you, I'm human, I get emotional, and I like to reduce my exposure to that kind of emotion, right? Just trade the charts, regardless of what I'm up or what I'm down. I want to lock in profits when it makes sense. I want to cut losses when it makes sense. So I don't know if you guys have ever made that mistake. Maybe you're much better than I am, but I know that is a very common issue for a lot of our beginners as they're just getting started, is that they obsess about, I want to be up $100. I want to be up $200. And realistically, that's not what's important. It's what's the trade opportunity, right? What is it showing you? Was it a good or bad earnings? Based off of expectation, it came in better than what was expected. But remember, that is not the concern with Nvidia. Nvidia has a lot of forecasts. Nvidia's price point right now and market cap is not based off of what it's currently producing. It's all based off of future forecasts. And that's the thing that a lot of people get confused. This is why the stock market can be viewed as, oh, it's rigged. Earnings weren't bad, but yet it's selling off. It's not rigged, right? Just based off of, its guidance can be a little bit lower than what Wall Street expected. And because of that, the market can adjust. Wall Street doesn't just care that it performed well in Q3 of 2024. It also cares about what's to come, what's going on with the Blackwell chip. And that's something that we'll learn more about during the earnings call that it has in the next, if I'm not mistaken, is it an hour and 30 minutes from now? Right? Is it an hour, or is it 30 minutes from now, or an hour and 30 minutes from now? Did Ricky take a position or anything during the live stream? Of course. I bought the dip into Nvidia. I bought it as it sold off. I kept it light, added more to it when direction became favorable, and I'm up a little bit over 2,000. I haven't locked it in fully, so I've reduced the portion of my position up here, but that's about it. So I'm up 2,000 on that. On MSTR, I made $2,700 today, shorting it from the highs into the lows. So it was a very simple trade, nothing crazy. I actually called this one out to my LPP team. And then PLTR, I went long on it. So this is actually the one that I lost $3,800 yesterday on. I actually made $3,000 on it today to going long. So this one was also one that I called out to my LPP team. And so $3,000 on that one. MSTR 2,700, and then Nvidia, which again, this one doesn't really count just yet because it's not locked in and it could continue to sell off. I bought into the dip, but I'm up about $1,000, $2,000. But again, this one doesn't really count just yet because Nvidia could continue to sell off. So make sense? All right. How did we do? What'd you guys think about this earnings? I feel like obviously if you went long on Nvidia, it's hard to be excited right now. But this is why I try to do my part in just making people aware of the downside potential, not because Nvidia has to sell off, but because when it does, you can't be surprised about it, right? I do want to remind you, the last time Nvidia sold off during earnings, the following day, it opened up slightly in the green. It did recover and then ultimately ended up selling off later within the day. We talked about it in the earlier part of this stream. So just something to be mindful of, right? You shorted it before the market. Wow, congrats for you. You're up 4K. I love that. So I'm buying in the extended hours. For those that do not know how to trade during extended hours, first off, if you've never traded in extended hours before, do not trade Nvidia during extended hours for your first time as it just reported earnings. It's very risky. But you can't buy with a market order. You have to buy with a limit order. So that's what you see me doing here. So buying, limit order, and then you have to turn on extended hours. So just something to be aware of. We talk about it in a little bit more detail in the LPP lesson library. So the more that it sells off, probably the more that I'll buy into. I wouldn't mind buying into the dip on Nvidia. I like the company. And again, I love buying when fear is being injected because Nvidia is a really good company. But once the hype begins to fade, just like eventually it will, we'll move our focus into something else, right? Nice. Ricky, I made $4,447. Appreciate your community. Thank you. Yep. I like that. Well, congrats for you, man. You earned it, right? You put yourself in a position where you're able to take advantage of that opportunity and reap the benefit of the sell-off. Hopefully you take profits when it makes sense to you, if that's now or later, right? If you see new lows coming, because again, that is one thing that I quickly do want to talk about. You guys do know that Nvidia can go lower, right? Is there an earnings call? Definitely. Yep. So you guys know that, right? Nvidia can sell off even more than what it's doing right now, because during that earnings call, if what they share is not what Wall Street expected and is actually worse than what Wall Street expected, then get ready. A 4% sell-off is one thing. It could sell off 5, 7, 10%. I've seen it happen before, right? Also, it could completely change the direction of the stock. It's down about 3 or 4% right now. It could end up in the green if guidance and earnings call is that much better than what was expected. So why not just trade the inverse ETF NVDU? I don't want to. I like the volume on Nvidia. I like being able to trade the actual stock itself. And if I don't have to trade the ETF, I won't. Just preference. You can trade what you want. I'll trade what I want. I sold my call options right before the market closed. Glad I did. Congrats. Mitigating risk, right? I want you to keep that same mindset that even if you would have missed out, even if Nvidia shot up to $150 per share, you have to understand, if you always look back and think about, oh man, well, I could have made this much amount of money. Remember, it's not about that. Your job is not just to think about what you could have made, it's about also what you could have lost, right? And you chose to mitigate risk knowing the exposure for potential loss. And I think that's what's most important. I do believe that's a healthy habit. I would rather have beginners that are part of our LPP team obsess about mitigating risk rather than obsessing about how much money they could have made, right? Tell me, what is a leverage ETF? Google search it. If you can Google search your question, you shouldn't ask it in the live chat. All right, this is not our LPP live session. So I want to remind you, the goal is to be self-sufficient. If you can't try to help yourself, you're not going to last in this market. If you're not a problem solver, you're not going to last in this market. There's a lot of challenges that are presented, not just daily, but consistently as a trader, as you need to learn new concepts, practice them, test them, make adjustments. Yeah, might as well trade for you as well, right? I don't